JP.
All right, a happy Monday morning, just in time, right under the line, right back from training camp. JP Peterson along with Nick Geddes from Outsider.com. What a big day of news we got for you today. We've got thoughts from camp this morning. Deshaun Watson, a 6-game suspension. Bah, ha, ha. Unbelievable. Follow the money, people. The Rays continue to tank. It's a disaster over there, and we'll get to all of it today. Welcome into the program. Nick Geddes is here from Outsider.com. As I mentioned, hope you guys had a great weekend. We are set and ready to go here today. And Tom Brady is speaking today, so we may be able to take that live as well. So we'll get Todd Bowles on, and we've got some great sound from this weekend. Devin White spoke. So we got lots to get to this morning on the JP Peterson Show, a full 2 hours of Tampa Bay-centric talk. And I'll get right to it. It's full pads today. Sorry, I might be a little bit, on the smelly side. Just came right from camp. Nice little breeze out there for the first day of pads. And all eyes on number 70, Robert Hainsey. Second snap of 11 on 11. They're running a jet sweep, and he snaps it high, throws off the timing, and caught behind the line. So no big deal. It's early on, but all eyes were on him, and they're going team right now, 11 on 11. Scotty Miller made a great down the field play for a touchdown from the GOAT. The crowd went wild. It was military day, so it's nice to see the paratroopers jumping in. So it's all going on at One Buck Place today. Good stuff. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. As you said, you got here right on time. Good to see you, but I understand because the pads were on. I understand the 11 on 11s were going on in
I had to
pads.
stay for the first 5 or 6 plays. Yeah.
Had to stay for that. I wouldn't blame you. I mean, the paratroopers as well. I saw some amateur video today of that.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Always gets me hyped when I see those type of things. So it sounds like a great day at Bucs training camp this morning.
Yeah, and you want to sit there and watch the guys. I didn't do one-on-ones with pass rush drills while I was there, so you didn't get to see that. But you just want to see the guys up front, going to one-on-one with Vita Vea basically is what Robert Hainsey's going to be doing. And there'll be no better training for him than that. That guy is the premier inside defensive tackle in this league, probably outside of Aaron Donald, in my opinion. Maybe one of the toughest guys to move or block. You can't move him. You just hope to turn him a little bit. But Hainsey's going to be the guy because as of right now, J.C. Tretter is still unsigned, and the Bucs have not signed him. Right?
Nope.
As far as we know, all I can imagine there is that he's looking for a long-term deal, and the Bucs already have a center under a long-term contract in terms of Ryan Jensen, 3 years. And I think he's, that's a rather large contract. If he's making close to 12, 14 a year, it ain't cheap. So I think that for 1 year, they would certainly pay JC Tretter what he might want, unless he's trying to break the bank. But Tretter's probably looking for something around a 3-4 year deal. And for the Bucs, that may be, too much to do. So it looks like it's Robert Hainsey at this point. We'll probably go through a week's worth of camp, and everybody will make their decision. If they feel comfortable with him, then they'll probably want to go with him and hope that J.C. Tretter is not off the market by then. So I'm just guessing. We haven't heard from Todd Light. I could just think that Jason Light is just basically saying, I'm going to wait and see if this guy's trying to break the bank. I'm going to wait and see if we feel like through a week and a half of camp that if Hainsey, they feel comfortable in him and with Leverett as the backup, then maybe they won't make a move. But I would think that's the strategy at this point. Yeah,
and maybe even the first preseason game, because even though it's just preseason, it's still valuable reps for a guy like that who we've said has not really gotten much game action in there with Robert Hainsey. And, you listen to all the other players and, is there some truth to it? They're always going to say good things about their teammates, right? But, I listened to AQ Shipley, who was in this building on the Pat McAfee show last week, and he was talking very highly of Robert Hainsey and the work that he put in the offseason and how smart he is. I mentioned he came from Notre Dame, and there's just a track record there of those guys coming into the league and usually being pro ready. So, after having the weekend to kind of digest it and to really – take in and listen to Robert Hainsey speak and everything. Very impressive.
Yeah, absolutely.
The mic. So, the Bucs are going to have to give him every single chance to prove it right now. Yeah. I think maybe the first preseason game, we'll see, maybe there'll be a corresponding move after that, but I think that game time is going to help him.
Yeah, they've got to see him go up against, and I think these joint practices with the Dolphins and Titans as well. And, it's a long camp. We're 6 weeks, 7 weeks from the opener. So we got a long way to go. And, if there's another injury around the league at center and somebody goes out and signs Treader, well, that's that. But at this point, it looks like they're going to give Hainsey every chance to step up and be that guy. I'll still be on record as saying I would rather have the experienced guy in there, the guy that we know can do it, has been there and done that at a very high level, the 5th ranked center according to PFF. I mean, that's a big deal, and I think it's a very, very critical position. So, I mean, if I'm Jason Light, unless there's something completely, if there's ridiculous salary demands or whatever, and don't forget, Treader is the president of the NFLPA, I believe, and he's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna take a smaller deal 1 year to go play with Brady. When the union is always telling guys to get as much as you can and set the market. So that might be another thing in play here. So, and there are people saying that he might be being blackballed by other teams. It's hard to believe that a guy that's that good at that position is still out there. So something's going on. There's no doubt about that. And maybe it's something that teams don't want to talk about or speak about out loud. Again, at a critical position, if you got a guy that's that highly ranked and he's available and it's Brady's last year, I don't see why you don't get him. But again, I'm not in these conversations. I don't know exactly what's being said and what's not being said. So, and what these other issues may be, we haven't heard a lot of it. So it is Hainsey at this point. Other things. And again, Scotty Miller, he makes that play today and a lot of people are going to start talking about Scotty Miller. When you go back and look at what he's done in this league and what he did with Brady in those first 6 games, basically before AB was here, those guys had a great relationship. Obviously, the touchdown in Green Bay as well. I think, and you've mentioned him as well, I think he's getting sold a little short as to what impact. You bring in Julio, you bring in Russell Gage. I get it. He's going to be kind of an afterthought, but he shouldn't be. He shouldn't be at all in this situation. Agreed?
Yeah, I hate it for Scotty Miller when they brought in Julio Jones, because that just kind of kicks him right down the depth chart even more. Because I think we've talked about the connection that he had with Tom Brady in the 2020 season. I thought that was one of his more reliable targets. And even last year when Scotty Miller got healthy and everybody else was not healthy, I thought Scotty Miller, when Tom Brady looked at him, I mean, they kind of got some of that connection from 2020 back. And going into this year, I do think he's been sold a little short. And like people are acting like he's like risk of making this team. I think he's far better than that. And a lot of people are saying, well, Brashad Perriman's going to make this team and all these other guys. I've always felt like Scotty Miller, before they signed Russell Gage and before they brought in Julio Jones, I thought he was the 3.
Yeah.
I thought he was clearly the 3 myself. Now he's probably the 5. We'll see based on what Julio Jones is really here for. If he could stay healthy, maybe he's the 4. I mean, I have my doubts that those entire 5 guys are all going to be on the same field for many games this year.
No.
It's probably not going to happen.
No. Hard to fit them all in. But the bottom line, remember last year we were down to number 7 and 8.
Yeah, we were. And that's the whole point of having these guys in here.
Right.
But to me, Scotty Miller, I don't put him on that bubble line of if you're going to make this team or not, barring that he's having a bad camp. And from everything I'm seeing, it doesn't look like that's been taking place.
No, he looks good, and Julio looks great. They're all, I mean, at this point of the season, obviously they're not hurt. They're not, nobody has a bad ankle. Nobody has a hamstring. Although I will say this, Brady a couple times today during the drills would bend over and stretch his hamstrings. A couple of times we saw that. Maybe, and I know he had some veteran days off last week, but that might be something to keep an eye on as well. Never want to see that, especially on a 45. Or he'll be 45 on Wednesday. Happy birthday, TB. By the way, Brady is going to talk today. We were told, but he may not talk the rest of training camp, and we may not see him at least hear from him until game 1. And it's and from what I'm hearing, he also has turned down just about every other media request. Brady is in full total media control at this point. He will only do what his contract is mandated for him to do in terms of appearances with the local media and evidently the national media as well. Every interview he goes into, it looks like these are handpicked interviews. And by the way, clearly there are going to be parameters when you handpick an interview. And he's going to agree to it. He'll say, I'm not talking about the Miami Dolphins. I'm not talking about Bruce Arians. I'm not talking about the X. I'm not talking about. Now, today, he may have to answer some of those questions. And I expect them to get any about Bruce Arians. They've already gone over that, but they're still, I heard Dan Patrick the other day, very much national narrative is that Brady forced Bruce Arians out. I didn't realize that. I was listening to Dan Patrick and he was like very matter of fact about it. Like that happened. I'm like, what? Like that's not settled science. That's not first of all, it's wrong. Second of all, is that really the national narrative? People really going with that?
Oh, of course they've been going with that. I mean, but I'll tell you what, though, in regards to Brady, and you said he's probably speaking today, at least that's the plan. I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, we were almost a week into camp. How many other quarterbacks around the league haven't spoke yet? Because, he's the quarterback. He's the focal point of the team. I mean, I've heard from Robert Hainsley. I've heard from Logan Hall. I've heard, not disrespecting these guys, but I've heard from so many players on this team, and I haven't heard from the quarterback yet.
Yeah.
And I was just like, is this like normal around the league? I don't recall this. I feel like I've heard quotes from every other quarterback in the league, and I have to think that's by design.
Well, let me and I was thinking about this morning, and not to get off too much on a tangent, but 35 years ago, God, I hate to even say that. I went to journalism school, and the way journalism existed back then, there was an expectation that you talk to the press. Okay, if you're in an important position in America, you have a dialogue with the press. The press, you are accountable to the people, and not only in politics, but in sports. I mean, that was a given. You are accountable to the people, and especially in politics. And now we've gotten to the point where that's not even the case with the president of the United States, which is amazingly ridiculous on every level. And but that passes for being okay now. That's not okay. And what's happened is it has trickled down through all of media now. Media is so corporately controlled now that people, these quarterbacks, presidents, whoever it is, they now have an expectation that they can control the media narrative and that they are not accountable to an open and free press that will ask any questions like we see with the British press, right? Like they pull no punches. Here in America, now everything is just, you control it and you can't ask probing question. That's frowned upon. And that's, that's not good for our society. Number one, it's not good for fans. It's not good for the electorate. It's terrible. But this is the age of corporate media, corporate censorship, big tech censorship, and it's not okay, but it's where we are. And so how does it trickle down to sports? Well, here you go. The quarterback of your team, and obviously it was way less important what he's talking about as in terms of public officials being accountable for decisions they make that severely affect our lives. Totally different ball game. But I'm just saying this is now trickled down to sports. The guys are going to have their own podcasts. They're not going to do media interviews where they're asked critical questions. Guys are going to be able to control their media access like Brady is doing now. And frankly, if I'm in his camp and I'm able to do it and there's not a huge backlash, why not? Why not?
Yeah, I mean, in regards to the questions being asked, I mean, we've been over it. We have to move forward. We have to move on. And regardless of what you think about what happened during that 48 period or whatever it was, he's here. He's here. I can confirm that he's wearing the orange creamsicle, whatever you want to call it, practice warm-up jersey. He's there. He's actively participating.
Yes, he is.
And that's really all that matters.
He ain't going anywhere else.
He's not going anywhere else, and that's really all that matters.
But it's the salacious stuff people want to know. And as we've been very upfront about this here, is look, folks, if you think Tom Brady is bleeding pewter and red, you're wrong. He's here because it's best place for him to realize his goals and dreams. It has very little to do with, he loves Tampa Bay or he's all in. He's all in with the team because that's what benefits him the most. This place gives him the best platform to win. That's why he chose Tampa Bay. It has nothing to do with us as people in Tampa. Well, it does in some degree because I think Tampa Bay, one of the big things about our area, Tampa Bay, is we're not a high pressure media place. And we're not a high-pressure fan place. I mean, I believe that, most athletes can walk around Tampa Bay, not be mobbed. You go to Starbucks and see Stamkos or Mike Evans or whomever. They're not mobbed. There's not media fans just all over them. It's a pretty laid-back place to play, and the media doesn't ask you any tough questions. I mean, look at what Stu Sternberg gets away with, for God's sakes. So this is a very player-friendly place to live and play. So I think in that degree, he probably very much likes it. So, and he can control it. So why not do it? Why not do it? You know, I don't like it as a media person, but
I just hope it doesn't trickle down to other quarterbacks across the league, given what we'll get into later today.
Oh, it will. Of course it will. I mean, you know, these guys really believe that they can control the narrative. So, and if they can, they will. And okay, well, I don't want to spend the whole, like everybody else is going to do today, spend the whole show talking about Deshaun Watson, because frankly, is this a surprise to you, a 6-game suspension?
A surprise, given what the NFL has done in the past? No. But all I'll say, and there's a nice little graphic here that I found that tells you about certain suspensions in the past few years.
Yep.
Calvin Ridley, as the most recent, a full season for betting. Vontaze Burfict, 12 games for targeting.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins, 6 games for PEDs. Martavis Bryant, indefinitely for weed. Josh Gordon, 25-plus games for weed. Darren Waller, 16 games, substance abuse. Deshaun Watson, 6 games for 25 sexual assault misconduct accusations.
Yeah.
So
no rhyme or reason to any of it.
There's no rhyme or reason to any of it. And again, I can't make sense of anymore of what the NFL, the whole process they go and take with this. I don't know how to make sense of it, honestly, but it's not surprising.
Well, I will say one thing about the betting. You know, once again, all of this, there's one thing you do: follow the money. Follow the money. So an NFL owner goes out, makes a trade, and guarantees Deshaun Watson $230 million, right? The owners run this league. Roger Goodell is a puppet of the owners, okay? All the other owners are, you know, they're in this together. You think they're going to let an owner go out and spend that kind of money and have their player suspended for the whole year? Because here's the other thing you have to understand. This is all PR. All right. This has nothing to do with legalities. I mean, I don't know how a grand jury looks at this case, and I wasn't in the grand jury. I wasn't privy to the evidence, but from all we've heard of all these allegations and the women that have come forward and done interviews, I mean, what Deshaun Watson did was a crime. According to what those women said, their testimonies that we saw on HBO, that's a crime. I don't think there's no question about that. Any other of us are going to jail for that stuff. There's no question about it. Now, Sue L. Robinson, the federal judge who recommended this suspension, which is not going to be appealed by the NFL or the NFLPA, so it looks like it's going forward. Of course, they don't want any more press on this. This is what it's going to be, 6 games. She said one of the big extenuating circumstances is these were sexual abuse allegations without violence. And I don't want to minimize that. I think that's important. That is an important distinction, no question. I think we can all see the Ray Rice video and then understand what went on here. You know, coercion, the fact that he's a powerful person as a quarterback of the Texans, the NFL. I mean, obviously this is when you're in a subject. I'm not exactly sure the word I want to use here, and I have to be very careful with my words. But clearly, Deshaun Watson is a very powerful person. And when he tells you to do something or asks you to do something, and you're in a much lesser position, then yes, it's anybody will tell you in the sexual assault psychological world that's a powerful thing. It is tantamount to physical action because women feel powerless in front of powerful men that they feel can certainly punish them in other ways. So, you know, for a woman to say that, it kind of gives the NFL cover. Bottom line is, this is about money. They need Deshaun Watson. He's one of the stars of the league. They need him back in the league. A team paid $230 million guaranteed to allow him to play. They're going to let him play. And when you look at the Calvin Ridley suspension, betting one time while he was away from the team, and why is that 17 games? Well, duh, because it calls and I'm not saying it's right, it calls the credibility of the game into question. A player gambling, it can screw your whole league because that guy dropped that pass. You know, he was wide open. It would have been the game-winning touchdown. He must have money on this game.
Okay, if the NFL, though, but if that's the case, the NFL needs to stop advertising all their betting. Stop it. Stop making money off of it.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
So that's the hypocrisy of the whole thing, in my opinion.
It's all about money.
It's all about money.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you think, and by the way, why should the NFL be the arbiter of what's moral and what's not moral in our world? Like, that should be the job of our courts and our culture, frankly.
Goofy. It's honestly goofy.
Yeah. I mean,
it really is.
The NFL has no responsibility to suspend these guys for anything. They don't. I mean, in terms of legal responsibility, they don't. None of this is legal. If they want their players to go out there and if they're not in jail, then they're allowed to play.
Yeah.
But so all these suspensions and things, this is all public relations. And here's the bottom line. The NFL doesn't give a rat's ass what women think about all this stuff. They don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. And any of this other stuff, they're just pandering. They're just yes, they have a large volume of percentage of their fans now are women. So they have to pay attention somewhat to it. But if this isn't a slap in the face to your female fans,
it's worse than that.
I don't know what is.
It's worse than that.
But they don't care.
I know they don't care. They're the most hypocritical organization, company, whatever you want to call them, that I've probably seen, honestly. That generates that much revenue and fan excitement.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a stain, honestly, given I just said, all the other things that went on there. And honestly, the Cleveland Browns, this is what irritates me even more. And we had this conversation a little bit last week when we were talking about quarterbacks getting paid. I'm going to reiterate something here. You mean to tell me that this guy somehow got $230 million guaranteed, given everything that's gone on, hasn't played in, almost 2 years, whatever it's been, and we still can't get Lamar Jackson a contract, huh? We still can't? Mr. Model Citizen Lamar Jackson, who's a grown-up, knows how to run a team and win football games, has done everything by the book correctly, can't get a contract. But we're handing out this guy $230 million. And by the way, if I'm reading everything correctly, I don't think he got any fines as part of this suspension. So he's going to make the full $45 million, I think, this year.
No fines at all.
Oh, but they included, by the way, he can't go into any other massage therapist except for the team one. Like that, really, we're really getting stuff done here with this ruling.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
I mean, it's just
6 games.
6 games. It just. The whole thing.
66 accusations.
It's mind-boggling.
Well, again, but I point the finger at the justice system as well. How the hell is he not? How is this not a crime?
I wish I knew. If he was a regular person, would it be? And I understand it's almost apples to oranges. I get it, but come on.
I would think. I don't know. I guess not. Once again, I went in the grand jury, but. I mean, we can all get on our sanctimonious high horses and it just be so, and you'll see this all around the media and people will be so indignant. But the bottom line is these owners, the commissioner, and for the most part, most of the players, they don't care. They don't care about this. This is like, let's get it over with. Let's get people back on the field. Let's play football. They don't. So I don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time on it. It is what it is. Yeah. It is what it is. All right. Other observations from camp today. There's going to be I think a heck of a battle for the running back position, snaps for running back. And I've kind of dismissed Giovanni Bernard because he did nothing last year, but he was injured. Here's another guy. He's a guy who has a track record in this league of being a very good pass catcher. And I don't know if the Bucs have mentally moved on from him or what have you, but there's no doubt in the drills, he looks like that guy. I mean, he looks like that guy that is a seasoned veteran that knows everything we said about him last year and our expectations for him last year should really be the same this year just because he was injured last year. But again, older players, they're injured. That's what happens. I'm not sitting here saying he's going to be a huge part of the offense, but when I watch him out there, I'm like, I forgot about him. That guy's smooth. He can catch. He's got some burst left. Rachaad White, same thing. And Leonard Fournette, not for nothing. And I don't know how important this is to the coaches out there, but like when he catches a ball from Tom Brady, it really doesn't look like it. And I'm not get on my soapbox about this. It doesn't look like he's busting his ass down the field, like the rookies are and other players are. He catches the ball and it immediately goes down into low gear. He's not, and again, he's a veteran. So do I really give a crap? No. I don't know. I mean, I want you to save it for the field. There's no reason to be, sprinting down the sideline. Now you show up in game one and it looks like you're out of breath and you haven't really been working as hard as you should, and you can't go the whole game, okay, then we'll have a discussion about it. But he knows what's best for his body. He's a veteran, but you do see the other guys busting their hump out there, no question.
Did you catch Leonard Fournette brushing his teeth on the practice field this morning? Did you get that one?
I did not.
Haven't seen that video going around, huh?
No, I have not.
They're calling him Listerine Lenny now.
He's brushing his teeth?
He's brushing his teeth on the practice field.
Who brings the toothbrush out to the practice field?
I don't know, but there was Leonard Fournette.
Is that a thing?
Standing next to Keyshawn Vaughn and the running backs brushing his teeth.
On the field?
On the field.
Who has a toothbrush on the field?
I don't know.
What do you carry that in your pads?
Some people do.
What?
Apparently. But I like the nickname, though, Listerine Lenny, that we're giving him.
Listerine. Well, first of all, you don't brush your teeth with Listerine, in case anybody wanted to know that.
Okay, well, it's a nice little whatever you call that thing.
Alliteration.
Alliteration.
Yeah, but it doesn't look licorice, Lenny. It's the same. What are we doing? Listerine. No, I didn't catch that. And I'm still like wondering what the hell. Like, why do you bring a toothbrush out to practice? What point? I will say this: it's very thoughtful. That's pretty. I mean, you're going to be in the huddle and talking to everybody else and be close to them.
Brush your teeth.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, nobody wants to talk to anybody with stanky breath. Does somebody like, hey man, you got a little funk going on there? Can you do something? And they bring him a toothbrush. I need to know the backstory to this. I have to know the backstory to this.
I'm trying to find the photo here.
I haven't seen the no.
I saw it going around this morning.
Have you ever brushed your teeth outside the bathroom?
There it is.
I mean, yeah,
there it is. Look at him. He's full on just going to town right there with the toothbrush.
Who brings a toothbrush to practice? Again, have you ever taken a toothbrush out? First of all, I mean, you might walk around the bathroom or somewhere.
I'm a pacer. I'll walk I'll leave the bathroom and I'll walk around into like the living room.
You're not leaving the house.
I'll just look out the window, maybe.
Out the window?
Yeah, I'll just look out the window in the backyard.
Okay, look out like.
No, I don't.
You're like hanging out the window.
I'm not driving into work.
I brushed my teeth.
I'm not driving into work with the going to town.
Like, when do you ever take a toothbrush outside of the home? Like we have toothbrushes at the club. We have like in the bathroom. They have these one-use toothbrushes that you can use. Like that's the only time I'm using my toothbrush that's not mine outside of my house. So I got to know. So hopefully he does some media today and we find out what the hell's going on there with Listerine Lenny.
I mean, Buddy the Elf carried maple syrup in his pocket everywhere he went. So is it really that out of the realm here?
you're putting Buddy the Elf up as mainstream people in America? Yeah, that is mainstream. I wish. I wish he was mainstream America at this point. Oh my God, he'd seem the least crazy of everybody. Joe F is saying, I don't see Perriman or Tyler Johnson making the team. I would agree with that, unless they step it up.
Has Tyler Johnson had a good camp? I mean,
no.
I haven't heard much from him.
I haven't seen much of him, to be quite honest.
I heard something. There was a quote about Tyler Johnson, I think maybe from Bowles, that year 3, he's starting to finally learn the system. And my rebuttal to that was year 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Goodell just better be ready for the backlash. Well, look, if you get paid $50 million, you can handle it. I mean, that's what he's there for. He'll be the punching bag, and
he doesn't care. You know, he doesn't care either. Taken?
No, the only thing he cares about is getting Deshaun Watson on the field, and the rest of it. And they'll do platitudes of. They may even say, well, I would, we wanted a longer suspension, but this was what was recommended by the female federal judge, so we feel that that's fair. Come on, what the hell is Tom Casper talking about? The happy, those were not legit massages. Happy ending escort. Yeah, I mean, none of it's legit. Again, you don't, in the Deshaun Watson situation, guys don't go out and get massages outside the team for therapeutic reasons. They don't. They all have massage therapists that are vetted by the team and are professional. Clearly, that's not what he was looking for. He was not looking to get his deltoid not rubbed out. He was looking to get something else rubbed out. And let's just be clear about what was going on here. And again, it's like, Deshaun, they have professionals for that too. Why don't you just hire them? Like, I don't get it. It just makes none of it makes sense. Make it make sense. None of it makes sense. I just want to, I don't want to be disrespectful to the victims at all, but I mean, some of those women, if you're I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. It is what it is. And, we'll spend the day, probably a day, maybe 48 hours talking about it, and everybody will seem indignant about it. And then we'll all move on and play football. All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to line up some of this sound that we have for you. We're awaiting a Tom Brady interview today. He is expected to meet with the media today. And we'll give you a little bit more insight to what's happened at Bucs practice. We'll hear from Devin White, and we'll get into the Rays as well. Another loss for them. Stay with us. The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing? Constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. If you're looking to get engaged this summer, it's always the first place you go. Number one, you can trust them for the cut, the clarity, the color, all that good stuff. these diamonds are what they say that they are. Can't always do that at every place. They've been in business for decades, so people come back time and time again because they get great service, they get a great deal, and it's like dealing with family. So you're going to stick with that, right? Also, they have the best selection. Steve Weintraub personally selects each and every diamond that goes onto the floor, so you know you're getting exactly what you're paying for. They have their diamond savings account where your diamond never loses its value. So many reasons to go to the Golden Diamond Source, folks. 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at the goldendiamondsource.com. Before we get into some of the Bucs sound, your thoughts on the Rays weekend and the lack of big-time prospects coming this way. A lot of trade talk out there, but certainly nothing has developed in a major way, unless you say Peralta is your guy.
I mean, I like the David Peralta acquisition. What's wrong with that?
Well, it's not Juan Soto.
I mean, well, the report was I think the Rays were in at least checking on Juan Soto, and once the asking price became uncomfortable for them, they backed out and went to David Peralta. Which to get David Peralta, I mean, they only had to give up a catcher who I don't even know if he's in their top 30 prospects.
No.
So you basically got David Peralta for free, and in my opinion, that's good business. It's a good piece of business for a guy that can hit in your 1 through 5.
Yeah,
and he got in there yesterday, had a base hit.
I get, it's an upgrade.
I mean, look, come on. David Peralta has hit 30 home runs in this league. He's been around for a long time, a veteran.
It's a solid move.
He's a lot better than what the Rays are putting out there in that outfield.
That's the point. That's the point. The standards are very low at this point. So yes, but again, it's not. Look at the other moves that are being made and are going to be made.
Oh, there's not really any moves being made
to the Yankees. I mean, that's something that we could have done, right? But we're not going to do that. We're not going to pay that kind of money. It's the same old, bro. It's just not.
I don't know. I like the David Peralta acquisition,
but he's a C+ player when you talk about the rest of these. When you talk about the rest of these guys that are available, Contreras, Juan Soto, guys that really will make an impact, a huge impact. Yeah, this is better. Yeah, because you've got nothing but 180 hitters. Yes, it's better than a 180 hitter. Congratulations.
But here's the thing. I don't think they're anywhere close to done.
Well,
I don't think. I mean, they got David Peralta basically for free. Let's just put it out there like that.
Yeah, it's
very
great.
Cheap acquisition.
It's great.
You still have time to add other things. So every report that I've been hearing is that their Wilson Contreras is a big possibility right now, and the Rays are one of the teams that are really hardcore aggressively going after him. And
they should be.
I think Topkin even said he expects the Rays to add a catcher and a relief pitcher.
Well, they have to add a catcher.
They have to add a catcher. There's no debate on that. But he said that almost like matter of fact, like that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that tells me that they're going to give if they're going to spend the money on somebody and they're going to spend capital on somebody, it's going to be Wilson Contreras to me.
Well, I hope so. I mean, we talked about this last week. He's the perfect fit. If you're going to make a big deal, that's it. By the way, did you see the snippet I retweeted on the Tyler Glasnow bullpen?
I did, yeah.
Why are the Rays not covering that? Like, why are we not getting a professional video of him working out? And
you're salty about the Rays this morning.
Of course I am. I'm
very salty about the Rays.
I'm not one of these Pollyanna guys out there that every time they go out and make some mid-level trade that we throw them bouquets. I'm not,
Hey,
when you're dealing with the Yankees, when you aspire to be a World Series champion, and you run your team like you're trying to win meaningful games in September. Let me jog
your memory here. The Atlanta Braves last year were kind of a middling ball club until the trade deadline, right?
Yeah.
You know who they acquired? Jorge Soler, Adam Duvall, and Jock Peterson. 3 outfielders who were all in the same category of David Peralta, by the way, when they got him. And those 3 guys ended up being really big contributors for them when they got to the postseason and they got on a run.
Well, first of all, I think all those guys are better than David Peralta. And second of all,
they're in the same family of players.
And second of all, let's see them make 3 big deals like that. I will laud them if they do so.
If they do so.
I'm
just telling you.
That's my point. They haven't done it yet.
Adding a quote-unquote mid player is not exactly a bad deal, especially when you get him for free and when your other options are Roman Quinn and Brett Phillips.
So you're throwing them bouquets because they did something that's average at best. That's not my point. Is I want to do something big,
and
if they do it, okay. Well, until they do it, I'm not throwing them bouquets.
I think it's a nice step in the right direction.
But you're one of those fans that we're going to get Freddie Freeman. We're going to get one. Your guys are always talking about these big deals, and they never effing happen. And I'm telling you because they're not going to pay the money. And until they do, I'm not going to throw them bouquets.
And I'm telling you that if they don't get Wilson Contreras and he goes somewhere else and I see the package and I think the package the Rays could have upped, then I'll come on the show after the deadline and I'll rip them for it.
I'm just getting in line first.
I'm telling you, as an isolated thought on David Peralta,
I'm a
fan of the move.
I'm a fan of the move, but it's a no-brainer. For God's sakes. Yes. I mean, here's the thing. That's the lowest level thing you can do and you should do.
Now here on the flip side of that, when the Rays called the Diamondbacks.
Is Aranda still at AAA?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He's still mashing? Yes, he is.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, the Rays probably called the Diamondbacks, and I'm going to assume they had to have asked for Ketel Marte, who's the actual diamond there that is in his prime and has a little bit more money you have to pay him, but he's obviously a really good player, very dynamic. I'm sure they probably asked for Ketel Marte, and there's probably a likelihood the Diamondbacks asked for a haul that the Rays – that could have happened too. There could have been a haul where they asked for like an Aranda or something and that kind of deal, and the Rays probably balked on that.
Of course.
And then they pivot to David Peralta. So that's possible it could have happened, and that would kind of lend into your theory that they're just not going to pull the trigger on these deals.
Yeah.
Maybe. But as an isolated deal, I like David Peralta, and when I saw the lineup yesterday – I liked having to see that there was 5 guys that I could count on instead of 4.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, the Rays, as time goes on and guys get healthy, they're going to keep having now 1 through 6 where they can rely on and 1 through 7 and so forth. So, but the problem with the Rays right now, they just can't win baseball games at the moment.
Yeah.
And they're treading into that territory where they're kind of having to hold on for dear life until they get healthy because they just can't win series right now. I mean, this is 3 straight they've dropped out of the All-Star break after they went in with as much momentum as any team in the league.
And you really push the panic button when Shane McClanahan doesn't have a good outing. And his velo was down a little bit. I'm no doctor, but the only thing I could think of why his velo is down is he hasn't been pitching. I mean, he's pitched, what do you have, 81 pitches when he got pulled, 23 pitches in the All-Star game. So we're talking about 110 pitches or whatever the hell it is in almost 3 weeks. Like, no wonder his velo's down. I don't know what they do in their off days, but it just seems really like, why is his velo down? He cannot be more rested.
I wish I had a good answer for you on that one.
Yeah,
but there, no doubt about it. That was
I wasn't asking. Yeah, I don't know if you have a doctor note to tell me what's going on with him, but I mean, that's just bizarre.
That might have been his worst start of the year, and the 3 walks,
without question.
The 3 walks because he just doesn't walk many guys at all, and to have 3 and 4 1/3 against I almost said the Indians. Sorry, the Guardians.
Oh my God,
sorry,
triggered. I'm triggered.
Yeah.
By the way, 18,000 fans there. Not bad.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
I was disappointed with the Friday crowd.
I didn't see it.
The Friday crowd was like a hair over 14.
That's it?
Yeah, and that was the first game where they had the flash
$15
shell thing.
tickets?
And even then, I'm like, for a Friday in general, even without the flash shell being there, that seems a little low.
Yeah.
14,000.
Football season.
I guess so. People are getting ready to gear up there, but it is what it is. But regardless, still nice to have people in the seats. But when you don't win baseball games, and the offense again was just kind of middling once again. So
yes.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, we're not going to be. It's just not an explosive team at all right now in any way, shape, or form.
The one thing that kind of just boggles my mind though is when they got David Peralta, they had to make a corresponding move, and they send Josh Lowe down.
Yeah.
And listen, we went on. We had our piece on Josh Lowe last week. But the fact of the matter is, over the last 15 games, the bat is coming around. He's hitting over 300 in his last 15 games.
Yeah.
He looks like he's finally starting to get a little comfortable at the plate. And it's like the Rays just said, okay, see ya. Go back to AAA. And I just wonder where that guy's confidence has to be.
Keeping Robert Quinn and, with all due respect, Brett Phillips.
But the difference here is Brett Phillips and Roman Quinn don't have options. So they wanted to create a scenario where they wouldn't have to lose anybody. My argument is I don't give
who's picking up Brett Phillips or Robert Quinn on waivers.
Exactly. I don't give a rip at this point. To me, I always thought the Rays were keeping Brett Phillips to make it till Saturday so they could have the whole jersey giveaway. And so they wouldn't disappoint fans and have to scrap that giveaway. I thought they were holding on to him until then. And then they'd say, thank you, Brett. Bye-bye. But he's still here. And that's a boggling decision to me.
No, when you just ran down those numbers of Josh Lowe, I mean, you brought him up. He's finally getting comfortable. I mean, this makes no sense to me whatsoever. How the hell do you keep Robert Quinn? I mean, Brett Phillips, I'll get it.
It's Roman Quinn.
Roman Quinn, whatever. Robert, he's probably just as good a pass rusher. I mean, it's how do you keep that guy over Josh Lowe? I don't even know if he was playing for anybody. Nobody's picking him up on waivers.
Who are you talking about?
Quinn.
Roman Quinn was on the Phillies. He was but he wasn't really doing much.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a dude. He's kind of
Just
fast.
a guy.
Just a guy. You guys freaking.
And here's the thing: it's like
Lowe is supposed to be your future. You traded an all-star for this guy, and you're keeping the mighty Quinn instead of Josh Lowe.
And people are trying to explain this to me. Well, the Rays are prioritizing the defense of Brett Phillips and all this, and the speed of Roman Quinn. And I was like, last time I checked, all of y'all told me that Josh Lowe was this 5-tool athlete,
exactly,
and could do everything.
Yes.
So someone needs to explain the disconnect there. I just can't, for the life of me, make sense to it. And Jonathan Aranda, to your point, is still just raking in AAA for no reason.
They're tanking. How about that one?
Tanking.
They're tanking.
I know you keep using the tank word. They're not tanking.
They're tanking.
They're not tanking. You don't go out.
Why do you keep the mighty Quinn and send Josh Lowe down?
You don't go out and acquire a veteran bat who can go 1 to 5 in your lineup
again,
for
nothing.
You don't go do that though if you're tanking. How would you make your lineup better if you're tanking?
You got to make it look somewhat plausible. Yeah.
Come on.
We don't have to give up anything for Peralta. Let's go get him.
You're in your field.
Let's go get him.
You're in your soapbox. That's where you are right now.
Well, explain the Josh Lowe move to me.
Explain
Shanahan.
I just explained it to you. I don't have to agree with it. You don't have to agree with it, but that's the thought process.
If Eric Neander thinks that the mighty Quinn or Brett Phillips is going to get picked up off waivers, well, then he's not as smart as we thought he was.
He doesn't have his fastball anymore.
Yeah, he's not as smart. And I don't believe that. I believe it's coming from above. That's exactly what I believe. We got to hold on to those 139 hitters, bro. We got to. I mean, we don't pay him nothing. We don't pay him anything. So let's keep him around. It makes 0 sense to send Josh Lowe down. 0 cents. And again, they're not going to break the bank for anybody coming in. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong.
We got the rest of today. Today's an off day.
All right,
today's an off day. We got plenty of time to talk something.
And you saw me on Twitter about this. This is the most egregious thing that the Rays did this weekend. Did you see the line for the Brett Phillips autograph?
Yeah, what's the problem?
First of all, it's outside.
Okay.
You have 100,000 square feet of air-conditioned space. It's called a Tropicana Field Dome. And you're going to send the ticket-buying public who's already been in the building, you're going to send them outside of the building when there's a heat advisory to wait on the concrete in the sun and line up for autographs for Brett Phillips. There's no way you can figure out how to make that line work inside where there's air conditioning. You're going to put your fans out in a dangerous heat situation where actually they had to have people, a police person come over and help a couple of kids who were suffering from the heat. And did they bring those kids inside right away? No, we can't have you inside, even though you've already paid for a ticket. That's either the stupidest thing anybody could do, or you just don't give a crap about your fans whatsoever. Hey, go line up in the heat. We're giving you a free autograph. So, go line up outside in the heat. What the hell is that? What is that? They finally bring out some water to the people, and it's warm water. So then they have to go back in and get some cold waters for people. Now, I will say this. If you're a parent and you're sitting out in that heat to get an autograph and your kids are struggling, you do have a responsibility to get them inside or go get them somewhere else. But still, who made that decision at the Rays? That would never happen for the Lightning. I can damn sure tell you that, or the Bucs. You don't. That's not just not giving a crap about your fans, which clearly they don't. That's putting people in a dangerous situation. And again, that's the Rays way. So,
well, first of all, you wouldn't catch me sitting out there in that heat, standing out there in that heat to get an autograph from probably anybody. Let alone Brett Phillips.
Yeah,
so that's other people's problem to deal with, in my opinion, on that.
But come on, you got a huge dome. How can you not figure out how to keep those people inside? Meh. Yeah, just ridiculously stupid.
Why do y'all want the Brett Phillips? I feel like am I going too hard on Brett Phillips today? I just
are.
Huh?
No, I mean, he's
I'm
struggling as a ball
talking
player.
about a
but
baseball field. He hasn't done anything this year.
I know, but
He's still here.
But he's such a good dude.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, understand that.
But that's great. At least
doesn't win baseball games.
I know. I'd like to at least. Well, exactly my point. He's very useful, and get him to sign autographs all day. He can be a great ambassador for the team.
I'm sure
he can be the face of the team. We don't have to pay him squat.
I'm sure
he'll do whatever we ask him to do that. And plus he helps us tank.
I'm sure we have other ambassadors around here. Come on. There's got to be somebody else that's actually, worth a lick.
There's so much weird crap that they do, though. I mean, you want to run down the absolute list of the stupid things that they've done this year that make absolutely no sense. We could do a whole show on it. A whole show, from the ticket prices to keeping these guys around that can't play it's ridiculous on so many levels. We've chronicled them all, and I know you guys probably want me to, and we haven't even talked about the stadium stuff. And by the way, I texted a couple of my sources over the weekend about the meeting that was supposed to take place last week, and I can't even get confirmation. Like normally they get right back to me, and now we're not even getting that. So I don't know. Maybe that means there's something meaningful going on behind the scenes, and they want to keep it out of the press, and they've been asked to do so. That could possibly be it. Or nothing's happening. I don't know, but we'll try to get to the bottom of it this week.
Did you make a visit, though, the Trop deceased too? Because he was there.
Throwing batting practice?
How do you think he would have fared?
What's that?
How do you think he would have fared?
Against him?
Yeah.
Just take the screen off, please. I'll rocket some balls right back at him.
Come on.
Right back up the middle. Absolutely.
Sounds a little personal for you.
Yeah, it kind of is.
You said it wasn't personal before.
I don't know. Don't get me started on that.
I was just curious what you thought of his arm. That's all I was asking.
He threw batting practice.
He almost took Betancourt's head off.
Well, there you go. Maybe you shouldn't be throwing batting practice. I mean, he doesn't want to pay the batting practice pitchers now? So he's out there?
I, for one, was excited and glad to see him out and about.
As I said, it looks like a PR move where the PR staff says, hey, the survey we got back says that everybody thinks you're a soulless Wall Street corporate greed carpetbagger. To which replies, hey, don't read the Times?
All right. Well,
I pay them a lot of money.
That's your story, your narrative. Now, let me tell you what actually
Go out and throw
happened.
batting practice. It'll humanize you.
Actually
Good
happened.
idea.
We had this thing called the
Make sure Topkin gets a picture and puts it in the
We
paper.
had this thing called the MLB first amateur draft a couple weeks ago, and we had the new signees in the building this weekend.
Oh, good.
And that is why Mr. Stu was there.
Oh,
because he always meets with them.
That's correct.
So there's fantastic. The actual story.
That's fantastic.
That's the one that you're living on Fantasy Island over there with.
So they felt he wanted to go out. That's good. I'm glad to see him out there throwing batting practice.
But the point is, he's out there. He's shaking hands with the players. Good, he's mingling. Yeah. New guy, Betancourt. I mean,
throwing at his head. Yeah.
It's all good. He's talking to Kevin Cash, maybe giving him the lineup card for the night. I don't know.
Good. So are we supposed to wipe away all his sins because he throws batting practice? Is that what you're telling me?
I am team. I like to just see positive things. I just like to see positive things.
Okay, that's great. Now we're gonna throw him bouquets as for throwing batting practice.
The thing is, we're begging Stu to be more involved with the team and just to act like he cares, right? And so when he does something that shows that, I want to recognize it. I want to recognize that he was here at the Trop this weekend.
I want to throw batting practice. Everybody wants to do that. You act like he's going out there and doing something that he doesn't want to do.
He was talking to the players, just, come on.
What do the players say to Stu? Can we get rid of this grass? Can you upgrade our grass? You bring in some more of those chopped up tires so we don't, or whatever they put on this stuff. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little salty. Look, the guy has done so much to restrict the development in Tampa and St. Petersburg. I'm a man of the people. You know this. So when, and now the city of St. Petersburg evidently wants to give him $600 million to take up half of the property that could go to affordable housing and for a failed location of a baseball stadium. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. So, it's great that he's out there throwing batting practice, but she would something meaningful for everybody else. That would be great. but I don't see that happening.
Well, you're salty about him. I'm just salty about that the Rays can't win a game.
Yeah, that's the other part of it. They're not now. I mean, wait till if they're not winning, and wait till they can't hide behind that, and we have to see all of the warts of this franchise. Then it's really, really bad, really, really bad. All right, is Bowlesy talking now?
Bowles is talking. I think he's about to finish up. I'm kind of just waiting for
Tom Brady,
for Tom here. I think that's what everybody's waiting for, to be honest.
All right, you want to play some of the Rays sound? You want to play some Cash from yesterday?
Yeah,
we got some of that, right?
We'll queue up some Kevin Cash as I sort of keep an eye on what's going on here. With an in, if Tom Brady comes to the podium today,
of course,
because there's always a chance that he balks. You never know.
Yeah,
you never know. As I find my Kevin Cash.
So the Rays lose 5-3, lose their third straight series. McClanahan not good.
Yep.
Once again, the bats not very effective, and they're quickly falling down the standings for the wild card now.
Yeah, but here was Kevin Cash after yesterday's loss.
Kevin Shane's been so good all year, uncharacteristic today. What was your take on his outing?
Just a little, the stuff wasn't as crisp as we've seen all season long. I mean, the velo was down a tick. Just didn't quite have the finish to the off-speed pitches, and you could tell by Cleveland's at bats they bunched together some hits. They weren't knocking them out. I didn't feel like they were knocking them all over the ballpark, but they certainly found holes and were able to get some early runs off of them.
I'm going to cut it off there because I did see that Tom just actually took the podium.
Oh, let's do it.
We have to take precedence there. Sorry, Kevin.
The GOAT.
We'll get back to your comments, but let me cue up the Tom Brady.
Good catch. Yeah, so this is the first time he's spoken to the media at training camp since, I guess, OTAs, and maybe the only time we hear from Brady. So we'll take it live here. The GOAT.
Everybody who's played a very important role, and you just can't take anything for granted.
Lenny's been a big target of yours the last couple of years. How is Lenny?
Sorry?
Lenny has been a big target of yours the last couple of years. How has he looked so far?
Good. He does a great job.
Hi, Stephen Shea, Barstool Sports. Nice to meet you.
What's up, man?
I was interested, obviously, asked about Lenny. How is the rest of the backfield depth with Rashad White, Giovanni Bernardo, and others?
Do that again? That was good.
Giovanni Bernardo.
Very good. I can't say it like that. That's got to be a big position for us. So they gotta step in and do the job. It's our receivers get a lot of attention. So it leaves opportunity for the tight end and the running backs to make plays in the run game and in the pass game. So Gio, Lenny, everyone's got to do a good job.
Tom, there's a lot of additions to the defense. A couple of weeks earlier with playing in the past. What do you see out of that for the first 2 days?
I just focus on our offense. I don't play defense, so I'm trying to do the best I can do at quarterback.
Less than a week into camp, what's your feeling of how things have looked out there?
Looks like training camp. Some days are good, some days aren't so good. Guys, keep improving. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Come on. Oh, come on. What was that?
Wow.
What was that? Did that just start and end?
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
Whew.
Seriously, what was that?
Ooh. I don't know how to react to that.
What was that? I'm looking for like, did we miss something? Did we miss that? Was that delayed or something?
I didn't pick it up that far into it. So,
but even every answer was like every answer was just short and nothing to it.
He asked him about Leonard Fournette, and he's like, he's been good. And that was it. Moved on.
What's it look? It looks like training camp. Some good days, some bad days.
And
That's it?
And then peace. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. One guy saying Giovanni Bernard, and that's funny. We'll do it like you do. And what about the defense? Nothing. Like nothing. I play offense. What the hell was that? Well, I mean, I was a little prophetic in my little diatribe earlier today about controlling the media. Are you seeing anything on Twitter? I mean, nothing from.
It looks like he did say some stuff before, but
okay. So maybe we won't make a big deal out of it.
So I don't want to go too far into it because they're gonna upload the whole audio and we'll play that later in the show. so we can get more of a feel for it. But just in the part that we jumped in and heard the rest of it, was kind of odd from Tom Brady.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I'm seeing some people that were there obviously saying that he was not in the most like spiritly mood today. One of his more perturbed pressers is the way that it was described.
That's bizarre right there. He's only going to talk to the media one time, and he's refusing. Now, I heard that he refused NFL Network and some other things. Is there something going on with Brady?
I don't know. Just very odd. Very odd.
Is this protest that they're not going out and getting J.C. Treader?
Well, no, he spoke on Robert Hainsey here. I'm kind of going through the quotes here.
Okay, so we missed it.
We missed some of it, and we'll catch up on that. But the part that we saw was not the most. Yeah.
Wow. That's bizarre right there.
Yeah. In fact, let me see if I might be able to back up here and go where he started.
Did we have a bad training camp today? Did we have I mean, the time I was out there, he was throwing the ball well. Guys were catching it. I mean, he wasn't doing a whole lot in 11 on 11. I know he threw a deep ball to Scotty Miller for a touchdown. I mean, I know Brady's not doesn't do long press conferences in general, but usually in training camp, he goes a little bit longer, like, 10 to 12 minutes.
I got it back here to when it started. So
let's roll it.
We can roll it here and kind of see what his actual whole thing was like.
All right, let's do it.
It's an unfortunate part of football with Ryan getting hurt.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
It's an unfortunate part of football with Ryan Jensen getting hurt.
Yep.
But you played with a lot of young centers before. What's your comfort level of, so far with Hainsey?
He's worked really hard. Obviously, everyone's heartbroken with what happened to Ryan. So that'll take a little time. But Haynes got to, step into the job and do a great job. So he's worked hard last year, really gained the trust of a lot of people. And, he's got to go earn it. So like all of us, it's not what you did, how hard you worked in the off season. It's, how good of a football player are you? So it's to be determined for all of us.
Some of your impressions from the new wide receivers, Gage, Julio, some of the other guys as well.
They're all working hard, They're obviously, we've got a lot of really great professionals that kind of have great work ethics and know how to play the game. And those guys are coming out to work every day. So tough conditions out here. There's not a lot of wind. It's just pretty hot. And, you got to kind of gear up every day for it.
What are your feelings when Rob Gronkowski retired, and how did those feelings compare to when he retired a couple years ago?
Everyone here loves Rob. So those are personal things. And, everyone gets a chance to make personal choices, but we all love him.
Back on last year, do you look at it as just the injuries that stopped you from attaining, winning the Super Bowl?
I don't think there's any excuses. You either get the job done or you don't. So, there's only one team that's really happy at the end of the year. It's a team that wins. So, you got to come out the next year and do everything you can to try to put yourself in position.
You cited unfinished business when you announced that you were returning. Can that only mean one thing?
We're going to just do the best we can do. It's a lot of work between now. It's August 1st. So we have a lot of time. Nobody knows what the team's going to look like. You think you have a center and then he gets injured. So the team's different in one day. So that's a long time between now and the first game.
He's pissed.
Things that you look for out of your wide receivers in order to build that trust and kind of start, getting that chemistry going leading into the season?
I think just steady improvement. Just getting better every day. So it's hard if you take one step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. I think you can start at a lower point, but if you make progress every day, you get to a good place.
You mentioned at a press conference months ago that Russell Gage needs to come in and be effective right away. What have you seen out of him so far, and has he impressed you?
He's done a great job getting open, catching the ball. All of us have a lot of work to do.
Hey, Tom, I got 2 questions for you over here. When you think about the whole process you went through in the offseason and coming back, how much did the way last season ended weigh into your motivation?
Jared, I don't know. Seems like forever ago. Okay. But thank you.
Hey, Richard Seymour.
Yep.
To the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
you spoke to the committee before about him. Can you talk about how much you appreciate him?
Oh, I love Richard. He's amazing, amazing man, friend. So happy for him, so well deserved. It's kind of a crowning achievement, and he had an unbelievable career, and just really happy to be a part of some great teams with him.
You've played as Bill Russell in the past, of the legend.
Yeah, I knew him pretty well. I had a lot of time up there in Boston and got to know him, and he was a very impactful figure. Even back to my early days with the Patriots, my second year training camp, he came and spoke to our team, and really an imposing figure. He had a great presence about him, and obviously what he overcame in his career was pretty unbelievable, and it was a sad day.
You've played as long as you have. What do you get out of training camp? What's the focus at this point in the year?
Same for everybody, just trying to be a little better every day.
With so many new targets with Julio and Kyle and Dave, does that make this part of camp all the more important to get those rhythms and timing figured out?
I think you work every day, and you work every day as much as you can for the whole year, and you see where you end up. So this was an important day because it was the only day we have, and we got to focus on today, and then we'll deal with tomorrow.
Don't you get a finder's fee for your recruiting efforts, and do you enjoy that aspect of your career?
Well, naturally, I'm an older player, and I've been very fortunate to know a lot of guys. So guys choose this team because of the team, not because of me. We have a great organization and great teammates, and I think people are excited to come join, a great group of people and a great group of men. And it's never about one person. This isn't ever what the sport's about. It's an ultimate team sport, and I love playing with players that are professional, players that want to work hard, and players that put the team first.
A lot of these guys don't have rings, Tom, and Jason Light said that's not a coincidence in terms of bringing them in. Is that something that's driving you also?
Again, I think it's August 1st. Obviously today is today, and that's way down the road. So just try to get as best as, try to be prepared for today and deal with tomorrow morning.
You've got a birthday coming up, and it's going to put you in really rare company. You're already in rare company in a lot of areas, but at age 45, there's not a whole lot of NFL players that have achieved that milestone. You got to start looking at other sports, guys like Nolan Ryan, pitching a no-hitter at like 44. And where do you kind of go for that inspiration, or even kind of some of the ideas that you've come up with? I know Alex has been a big part of it. Tom House has been a big part of it. But like, where do you look to as far as that inspiration goes?
Yeah, I don't think you can do anything without incredible support. So this is not, about me. It's about all the people that have supported me to get to this point, and I'm very grateful. So I'm just super grateful to, everybody who's played a very important role, and I just can't take anything for granted.
Lenny's been a big target of yours the last couple of years.
I'm sorry?
Lenny has been a big target of yours the last couple of years. How has he looked so far?
Good. Lenny does a great job.
Hi, Stephen Shea, Barstool Sports. Nice to meet you.
What's up, man?
I was interested, obviously, asked about Lenny. How is the rest of the backfield depth with Rashad White, Giovanni Bernard, and others?
Do that again? That was good.
Giovanni Bernard.
Very good. I can't say it like that. That's got to be a big position for us. So they gotta step in and do the job. It's our receivers get a lot of attention. So it leaves opportunity for the tight end and the running backs to make plays in the run game and in the pass game. So Gio, Lenny, everyone's got to do a good job.
Tom, there's a lot of additions to defense. A couple of weeks familiar with playing in the past. What do you see out of that for the first 2 days of camp?
I just focused on our offense. I don't play defense, so I'm trying to do the best I could do at quarterback.
Less than a week into camp, what's your feeling of how things have looked out there?
Looks like training camp. Some days are good, some days aren't so good. Guys, keep improving.
Yesterday was
Thank you,
not
guys.
so good.
Appreciate it.
So what do we get? 7 minutes? 7 minutes. That's better than I thought. When we joined it, that was bad. He was getting tired of the questions. But I think just in general, he went into that saying, I remember last year at training camp, and remember how he waxed poetic for like 12 to 14 minutes and he got really into deep philosophical. Remember we talked about it. It was fantastic. It was, I was like, I could listen to this all day. This was Salty Brady. This was completely Salty Brady. And I don't know if it's, to me, that question about the center position seemed to really get under his skin. It's, and he also said about Hainsey, and of course, I'm probably looking too much into the language. He said a lot of people have a lot of trust in him. He didn't say I have a lot of trust in him. And I think that kind of goes without saying when a guy who hasn't done it. And I know he's played with some young centers in the past, but this is his last season and likely his last season. I don't think he's on board with this at all. I really don't. And I think this is his way of telling the organization, you need to go out and get J.C. Tretter. I could be completely way off on this, but that's as salty as I've seen Brady. And the fact that he's turned down every interview opportunity from the national networks and everybody else since, for a while now, but obviously since the injury and all the other stuff that's been flying around, I think he's just had it. I don't know. Good. Maybe he's ultra focused and he's got it. This is the way he's going to have a chip on his shoulder and he's going to come out and bust his ass and be the best Brady he can possibly be. And this motivates him. Okay, great. But that was some salty stuff right there.
It was odd to me. I still think, regardless of the question that you think ticked him off, I thought he was ticked off the second he sat down, to be honest with you.
His nonverbal was like,
the nonverbal. This is
the last place I want to be right now.
It's another thing where you have to watch it to see the nonverbal. It's just like, what was the question? Somebody was there, and I don't know if that was a Boston reporter that was here.
Yeah.
Because he asked 3 questions kind of centered, 2 of them centered around, Richard Seymour and then obviously Bill Russell. But the first question, I believe, was worded some way about, the 40. It was something had to do with the fact that retire. What was your motivation for coming back? Whatever.
Yeah.
And he was just like, I don't know. Like,
that's long ago.
So long ago. Like, no. He just had no interest in answering any of those questions. I think that was like his worst fear going in. Right. He was going to have a bunch of questions coming from all angles. And when he probably has known that reporter because he said him by name.
Yeah.
And he probably had to deal with him for probably 20 years in Boston, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Probably saw him and said, oh boy, here we go.
Here we go.
And that could have been something like that that ticked him off. They were probably like, why is this guy here?
Yeah.
This isn't your beat, I like it. It's funny how Stephen Shea, who's like the Barstool guy, who is now
we've had him on the show.
Yeah, really cool dude. I loved how he's the only guy that was able to get
a smile
cool
out
Brady
of him
to come out of.
Yeah.
And to the point, by the way, that you made about Hainsey, the reason why I don't know if that's true because he was asked about Leonard Fournette, who he loves. That's everything we've told. He called Leonard Fournette and said, "Hey, come back here," and he's asked about Leonard Fournette, and he just goes, "Yeah, he's been good," and that was it.
Yeah.
That was an odd answer too.
We could sit here and break this down.
Oh, I really could.
And it may be just, this could be, this is how Brady is after a bad practice. He hits salty. So this could be just a bad practice today. But with all that's happened in the offseason and all the things we've heard about him not being happy, he ain't happy. He ain't that was not an upbeat Brady whatsoever. And that was a cliche-ridden interview, and the fact that he's not doing any other interviews, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just kind of weird. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll hear from Devin White, who spoke over the weekend. Always love to hear from Devin White. God, he's almost a forgotten guy, in this stable of superstars. But he could be a guy that has a huge comeback year I'm expecting from him and a playmaker. So we'll hear from Devin White when we come back. Stay with us.
Cryptocurrency is all the rage today. The market cap for the industry is now over $1 trillion. And you read about people making millions of dollars, right? You want to get in, but have no idea what to do? Or maybe you dabbled a bit and you want to unlock the real money-making opportunities and don't know how to do it. There are over 10,000 tokens and thousands of decentralized finance exchanges to navigate. So what do? You go to DeFiLava.com. The folks at DeFiLava.com are in Tampa Bay, and they work with you directly to set up custom accounts, answer all your questions, and provide market analysis. Decentralized finance and cryptocurrencies are here to stay and will change the financial markets as we know them. Get in the game. Get with the experts at DeFiLava.com and tell them JP sent you and get their free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new, healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle, building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Italiano Insurance has been serving and working in our community for over 60 years, and it's not just about insuring all the pieces of your life. Italiano is as much a part of Tampa Bay as the Cuban sandwich, Gasparilla, and our Bucs, Lightning, and Rays. They're also active supporters of great charities like the Humane Society, Metropolitan Ministries, and local pediatric cancer centers. Hey, we all need insurance, so do business with a local company with a commitment to our community. Don't call some 1-800 number. Call Italiano and be greeted by one of your neighbors. That's 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Named the Small Business of the Year by the Tampa Chamber. 813-877-7799. The world economy is in chaos and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Military veterans, are you struggling with alcoholism or substance abuse? Is it taking a toll on your relationships and your work life? Are you having trouble focusing? Constantly anxious? Well, you may not be surprised to know that your fellow military vets have your six. Heroes Mile is a new concept in rehabilitation clinics, veterans helping veterans. At Heroes Mile, we staff our rehab center with fellow veterans who can understand what you're going through. Our mission is to help you heal from issues that only your fellow veterans can truly understand. Located just outside of DeLand, we offer a full range of inpatient and outpatient programs dealing with substance abuse, post-traumatic stress, and military sexual trauma. We choose to serve veterans because we know how complex these issues are. You could choose to fight the battle alone or win the war together. We are the community care provider with the VA and also accept most major insurance. At Heroes Mile Rehabilitation Center, we have your six. Go to heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. That's heroesmile.com or call 888-VET-NOW-2. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock. This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our second hour by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you have a COVID diagnosis, Christopher Lugo, who we had on the other day, they will take great care of you over there. They've got those protocols
using ivermectin and a lot of the antivirals that will help you tremendously. There's no reason to get sick. There's no reason, certainly, to get hospitalized. Make sure if you get a COVID diagnosis that you get in to see him within 3 to 5 days of symptoms, and you will be fine. They've treated a lot of COVID patients with great results. So I know there's a lot of infections going around right now. So that's the place to go, BAMMC.com. Don't let some doctor tell you there's nothing they can do. There's nothing available. There's plenty. Someone actually told me that they got COVID 3 weeks ago, went to an emergency room, and the doctor said, yeah, there's nothing we can give you. Unbelievable. They can do it at BAMMC.com. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo and his team will also take great care of you if you're looking for a new primary care physician. So check them out, BAMMC.com. All right, if you missed, we just played the Tom Brady thing, and Nick and I were just kind of going over it in the I've been doing this a long time. And some of those questions were, I'm sure, a little tiresome for him. But man, that was just different. It was just different. I don't know. I don't want to make a huge deal out of it. It's probably just a bad practice. And he just had no time for the media today. And I don't know. He's never really long with the media. I get it, but that seemed a little abrupt and a little curt.
Well, I've said this before in other outings of his where he's been a bit, rough with the media. He's been doing this for 22 years. Yeah. He's about to turn 45. He's just worn out from this.
I think so.
He's just worn out from being asked every question. There's only so many ways you can phrase a question, right? There's only so many different ways. It's literally just every year the same question, just insert a different name in.
Right.
Basically.
How's Lenny look? Good. It's training camp. How's training camp going so far? What's your thoughts on it? It's training camp.
Yeah.
Some good days, some bad days.
It's just kind of the way it is with Tom. And I mean, I told you too, like based on some of the quotes that he's talked about the media. I mean, he said it. He's like, the media thinks they have to know everything.
Right.
He's like, you effing don't.
Yeah.
So I could already tells you right there how he feels about the media. He just doesn't want to deal with it.
And given a specific question about somebody like Bill Russell or Richard Seymour, he was a little bit more
that one
animated, less cliche.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it does matter the question that is asked. There's no doubt about that.
And Stephen Shea has the way you asked the question.
Giovanni
he gave a good answer to that one too. Just because of the way the question was asked. I think when he started, I mean, he gave a good answer about Ryan Jensen and Robert Hainsey. But then after that, it just got less and less and less for him.
I mean, I would say if I was going to ask a question today, I would say, specifically, what is it about Ryan Jensen that he gives this team in terms of calling out the blocking assignments, recognizing blitzes, those veteran things that veteran players have? Because he did mention, again, I like playing with veteran players who what was that quote that he said? Basically, I like playing with veteran players who know what they're doing. I don't want to read too much into it. I'm not trying to be anti-Hainsey, but it just seems like, and he was very animated about that. He's like, center goes down and it changes the whole thing. I mean, that to me was the biggest thing I took away from it. It was like he was pissed off that Ryan Jensen was hurt. And
keep in mind,
he said he's built the trust of a lot of people in this organization. Talking about Hainsey, he didn't say he trusted him.
Keep in mind, when Brady decided he was going to come back, it was on the eve of free agency.
That's right.
Ryan Jensen was out the door.
He was signing with the Bengals.
And then Tom Brady came back and called him and said, I'm coming back. I need you here. You know where I'm going with that then.
Yeah.
So of course he's pissed off about it.
And Brady, again, a lot of people here in this are like, hey, Hainsey's a smart guy. He's a good player. He's done everything we've asked him to do. I get all that. He has never snapped the ball to Tom Brady or never played a meaningful down at center in the NFL. Never. And there's a guy out there who is the 5th ranked center by PFF standards. And I guarantee you, Brady's going, I ain't got time to train a rookie. I got no time for it. And then the second snap at 11 on 11, they're running a jet sweep, which takes impeccable timing. He gets the shotgun snap, drops it to Scotty Miller. He runs around the outside. If the snap is high and it throws off the timing by just a millisecond, the play is done. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm not saying Ryan Jensen snapped everything perfect, but it was bad timing for Robert Hainsey to give him a high snap in that situation.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if Brady was like, see, this is what I'm going to deal with. No, I look, I could be completely wrong, 100% wrong. But I was on Thursday and Friday, I was adamant they're going to go get JC Treader. This is why would you not? Why would you not? You redo 6 contracts. I don't care what it is, whatever money he wants. And I want to say I guarantee it, but to me, reading the tea leaves, this is what's going on.
Yeah, and I think we have to read the tea leaves on that.
JC Treader will be here.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, I first thing I said on the show today was that after taking in the weekend, I was like, man, I'm kind of warming up to the fact of Robert Hainsey. But now it's like,
you want to go back? I almost want to go back and replay that part of the interview, or should we just go to Devin White?
Well, I'll work on getting us back up to that part of the question. But
all right,
but that was interesting, no doubt about it.
That's the way I'm reading this thing.
Well, I know if there's a conspiracy theory to be had, you're on it. You're already formulating your thoughts on it, your argument for it.
We're usually right. So all right, let's play some Devin White then from this weekend. Again, here's a guy that a lot of people feel like, what did I see a linebacker ranking the other day of the NFL linebackers, and he was like 5th or 6th.
He was 4th.
4th
on it was the NFL players, executives, and general managers, I believe, that voted this.
And I love me some Devin White. Don't get me wrong, but I love his energy. I love the Super Bowl season, especially the playoff season, making big plays after big plays. But last year was not a good year, and I'm not saying he's a bad player. I'm just saying he needs to step it up. He knows it. He's the first one to say it, and I expect him to really, really put the pedal to the metal this year. I think he's going to have a great year. So I'm here for it, but to be ranked 4th, my Lord.
Well, Levante David being 9th on that list, I'm just like, have any of you watched a Bucs game?
Like, who's voting on that?
The general managers, the executives. I'm like, those people should know the game. I thought Levante David's not a better linebacker than Devin White.
I don't know what tape they're watching.
I don't know either, but I'll tell you what, though, and we'll listen to it here, but the theme of Devin White is he understands what he has to get better at. So that's a good sign for him going into year 4 now.
All right, let's play number 1, talking about making some more splash plays.
Along with Levante David here.
Mm-hmm.
We both healthy. We both 100% healthy. And I think that's the only thing that'll set us back ever playing the game of football, because we both love the game. And we both worked tremendously hard, but we both went through injuries last year. And, unspoken injuries. His was more open than mine. But, I feel like we made no excuses. We still tried to fight for our team. But like you say, we won ourselves. And right now, we on fire. If anybody come watch practice, they see us doing what we do. And, we got goals. We got big goals. And, my guy ain't getting younger. So it's, I want to just keep him at a high level, keep him, competing with myself. And I think we're going to do big things together. And, we back and we ready.
I like it. I love the energy. He and Levante got to do big things. I'm bringing with me. Absolutely. Love it. All right, next one. Improving after last year's somewhat down season.
I think everything for me is just being like, when I'm out there playing, is just anticipation and not like reading and reacting. Because if I'm anticipating something, I think I play 10 times faster with the speed that I already bring to the game. And I think that just helped me tremendous. I think that's kind of set my skill set, apart from different linebackers in the league. So I'm just taking it, like, keep improving on a mental standpoint and just, to fine tune things on the field, working hard early, so I can see everything in front of me, things like that. So I think that's what I've been drilling every day.
Yeah, I think with him, we've been over this. He's almost like too quick on the field, like to his detriment.
Yeah.
It's what it kind of comes off as. Because, again, Pro Football Focus is not the end-all be-all, but it's no secret that his play has not lended well over to that grading system at all. In fact, I think he's like one of the worst linebackers in the entire league, overall players in the entire league, based on that grading system over as many snaps as he gets. So, but even then, it's like, I feel like last year was the first year where I think our eyes kind of caught up to it. And we were like, whoa, this guy's not good in coverage.
Well, when he's making splash plays, a lot of times he's taking chances. He's gambling. You can make splash plays in this league, as a linebacker or a corner when you're necessarily not fulfilling your responsibility within the defense. And Brady gets caught on this sometimes, is he knows what your responsibilities are as a defender. And if you don't, if you start playing a man or you go zone when you're not supposed to be, it messes him up. And sometimes you benefit by getting a splash play. But in the long run, that type of gambling is not going to work out for you in the long run, and you're going to get caught. And so that's, I think, where PFF will sometimes downgrade him. And, coaches will get on you. But, when you make those splash plays and those things are going your way, it's good. But teams adjust to it. They adjust to it, and they use your aggression against them. I bring up that play against the Rams where they baited him into rushing the passer instead of covering his responsibilities in the tight end. And, you get a touchdown thrown right behind you. And that's all film study, and they baited him. He took the bait, easy touchdown. And those are things he knows he has to work on. But, you see that quarterback out there unprotected, right? You're down in the red zone. You're going to go make a play. And it's like, oh, I got him. Oh, that's my man. Whoops. Oh, that didn't work out too well. And, that's football. And that's why you've got to be disciplined within the system at times.
Yeah. But I still want to see him take that next step, because I think year 3, his kind of growth, I think, stalled a little bit, or even kind of went backwards.
Yeah.
I think that's honestly, if we're being objective, it went backwards a little bit last year.
I think he'd admit to that. Sure.
And he's admitted to that. He admitted to that during, what was it, minicamp, I guess?
Yeah.
He was very upfront about what happened there. So he knows what's going on.
Taking full responsibility. He was asked about the veterans that have come to join this team.
Great players want to play with other great players. I think that speaks for itself. They want to go to a team where they know they're going to be a contender, a top-tier contender at that. They know they're going to be on a team who looking to play for it all. And not everybody want to win the Super Bowl. Everybody going to say that, but every team don't have the pieces to do that, because, you really got to have some great players to be able to do that. So when they look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now at this moment, they know, like, that's a team that if I want to try to go get me one on my way out, that's a team that I can try to do it with, and I have a good chance. And
that's still an odd reality for me to take in.
Why? Oh, that it's the Bucs?
That it's the Bucs. I think it was Scott who asked that question. And, I think he phrased it like, you were here in 2019 when the culture had not shifted yet, and you saw what the organization was before. And now how the organization is just 3 short years later, I still can't believe it. I mean, that you just in the mirror, the teams are literally saying, or players are literally saying, man, I want to get a ring. I want to go to the Bucs.
Yeah.
It's just an odd statement to make. I don't know.
Well, it is now, but it won't be for long.
No.
As soon as Tom Brady leaves, and, there's going to be a time where we're going to have to pay the piper and turn a lot of these voidable deals. Salary cap's going to be an issue. And of course, we got to go find a franchise quarterback again. But hey, not this year. That's for damn sure. Tom Brady is here, and he's salty. Salty Brady, you know what? It might be good. Find some more motivation. Maybe that's what he's doing, trying to find more motivation for his for this last season. And that's fine with me. I'm not pissed because he was short with the media. I'm just trying to figure out why he was so salty. And I'm coming up with one thing, folks, and that's he wants a veteran center, and there's one out there, and he's been known to get what he wants.
Well, let's go back to it, because I have it queued up here.
Okay.
From the beginning, because I believe it was like the first question asked.
I think it was, yeah.
Not? So here's it from the beginning.
Part of football is Ryan getting hurt.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
It's an unfortunate part of football with Ryan Jensen getting hurt.
Yep.
But you've played with a lot of young centers before. What's your comfort level so far with Haynes?
Good question.
He's worked really hard. Obviously, everyone's heartbroken with what happened to Ryan. So that'll take a little time. But Haynes got to, step into the job and do a great job. So he's worked hard last year, really gained the trust of a lot of people. And, he's got to go earn it. So like all of us, it's not what you did, how hard you worked in the offseason. It's, how good of a football player are you? So it's to be determined for all of us.
Boom.
It's the facial reaction right here.
Boom.
Yeah.
It's not what you did. It's not how hard you worked. It's how good of a football player are you?
That's the money quote.
Tell me I'm wrong.
That's the money quote, but I'm telling you, I'm encouraging everybody to go watch it, because it's the face he made before he got there. He cracked a little smirk, like,
yeah,
football player you are. Like,
Yeah.
It was that's how it kind of came off.
It's like I don't care how hard he's worked in the almost I'm tired of hearing it.
And he even took a little breath and he was like, a lot of people are saying that he's, he started with that.
He's earned the trust of a lot of people.
Yeah.
He didn't say he haven't said he's earned my trust. He didn't say we trust him. That to me was all about, I hear everything y'all are saying, but no, I ain't about it. Go get me a veteran.
And the other thing too, did Robert Haynes, if I'm not mistaken, he didn't play center in college, did he?
No.
He's just an inverted
Play
center
tackle.
here. Yeah.
Yeah, play tackle, and I think he played a little bit of guard. Yeah. That's what I said last week. It's what I'm saying again today. I'm shocked that the Bucs have not made this deal. And again, I have no idea what he's asking for. I have no idea if he wants a long-term deal. Even if he wants a long-term deal, I'm signing him and I'll trade him.
Well, I'll go full. I mean, maybe the way he kind of said that, maybe he already had a discussion. I'm sure he has a discussion with the Bucs already. Whoever
listen,
and was like, listen, I want this center. And maybe they sold it to him. They're like, hey, we want this guy to be the guy. And he probably didn't get the answer he wanted.
No, I'm dumbfounded by the whole thing. When I heard that J.C. Treader was available still, I was like, oh, fantastic. Well, we'll go get him. Why is he not here? Why is he not here? Why? This is stupid. You've gone all in. And I don't care what your evaluations say. And I have nothing against Robert Hainsey. I mean, awesome. Great guy, works hard. He's a third-round pick. We have no idea how he can play in the NFL. He may be awful. He's never done it before. You got a guy that's 10 years in, who's ranked number 5 by PFF. And I hope PFF's. And I hear this other thing. Oh, well, he's not. The Bucs run a different system. Oh, come on. You're a 10-year. I heard the same damn thing about, the Arians offense and Tom Brady. That doesn't fit. But these are professionals. Like, this guy can't come to a new system and learn how to play it. A zone blocker. He's a zone blocker instead of a man blocker. Come on. What are we talking about here? Are you serious? This guy's he's a professional center. He can adjust to whatever. If he got traded to another team that has a difference, you don't think he can figure out how to block a guy? Come on.
And as
You're
I said,
silly.
and
That's
as I
just silly.
said last week, for everybody who says, well, they drafted these guys, we have to see what they have beyond this season.
Stop it.
Because I've heard that one too. We have to see what we have beyond this season.
It's Tom Brady's last season.
Not on this team.
This guy has never snapped in a meaningful NFL. He's never had a meaningful NFL snap. He's not played center. And you're going to give time. Come on. That's exactly what is going on here.
Yep.
That's 100% of what's going on here.
That's what excited. It's just, this is not the team to have that philosophy for. And I got news for you. The 45-year-old quarterback don't want to hear that right now.
And you've completely mortgaged the future already. So now you're going to draw the line at Hainsey. And again, I have no idea what J.C. Treader's asking for. I have no idea.
That's part of it. I mean,
unless
see.
it's economically impossible, like you'd have no more contracts to redo. There's no way you can get to it. I'm cutting people.
But here's the thing. You think J.C. Treader would pass up an opportunity to play with Tom Brady?
Hell effing no.
That's the thing. You think J.C. Treader is just out here holding out? Well, I want $12 million to come there. Come on. No freaking way.
He might be playing, since he is the NFLPA president, that he may be, I tell everybody to
if that's the case, though.
Don't take less, you lower the market for everybody else, blah, blah, blah.
Okay, well, if that's the case, though, then go get Paredes then.
Yeah.
Go get the other guy.
Yeah.
Because those are the only two centers that are really worth the damn right now on the free agency market. Go get him.
Or make a trade.
I know he'll be cheaper than J.C. Treader.
Yep.
I know he's not as good as J.C. Treader, don't get me wrong, but he's a veteran body, and you need that right now.
I don't understand. Like, this shouldn't even be a question. You just lost your center for the season, most likely. And if people don't understand, this is not left guard. This is not right guard. This is not even left. I mean, left tackle is important. Right tackle is important. This is such a key piece.
This is the second most important position.
He touches the ball every play, just like the quarterback.
On this offensive line with this quarterback, it might be the most important. It might be even more important than left tackle.
And by the way, I don't care how smart Hainsey is. He's Mensa, went to Notre Dame. Great. Doesn't matter. He doesn't have the experience. And again, I went through this the other day, and I think it's instructive to do so here. Let's hear that one more other Brady quote about training camp and the way he said it about Ryan Jensen going down. Before I make this other point,
the quote we had just played already.
No, there was one where he said, was asked about training camp, and he's like, I mean, Ryan Jensen goes down, changes everything, and the way he said it.
Yeah, let me try to pick it up somewhere in here.
You know
what
what
happened to Ryan? So,
I think this is kind of.
I think it was just the next question. Yeah.
you know, he's worked really hard.
We'll listen
Obviously,
to this
everyone's
again. That's fine.
Heartbroken with what happened to Ryan. So, that'll take a little time, but Haynes got to, step into the job and do a great job. So he's worked hard last year, really gained the trust of a lot of people, and he's got to go earn it. So like all of us, it's not what you did, how hard you worked in the off season. It's how good of a football player are you. So it's to be determined for all of us.
To be determined. These are short answers. So
they're all working hard. They're obviously we've got a lot of really great professionals that kind of have great work ethics and know how to play the game. And those guys are coming out to work every day. So tough conditions out here. There's not a lot of wind. It's just pretty hot, and you got to kind of gear up every day for it.
What are your feelings when Rob Gronkowski retired, and how did those feelings compare to when he retired a couple years ago?
Everyone here loves Rob, so those are personal things, and everyone gets a chance to make personal choices, but we all love him.
Back on last year, do you look at it as just the injuries that stopped you from attaining, winning the Super Bowl?
I don't think there's
No
any
time for
excuses.
that.
You
No
either
time
get
for
the
that.
job done or you don't. So, there's only one team that's really happy at the end of the year. It's a team that wins. So you got to come out the next year and do everything you can to try to put yourself in position.
You cited unfinished business when you announced that you were returning. Can that only mean one thing?
We're going to just do the best we can do. It's a lot of work
No
between
idea
now.
what that
It's
means.
August 1st. So we have a lot of time. Nobody knows what the team's going to look like. You think you have a center and then he gets injured. So the team's different in one day. So there's a long time between now and the first game.
All right.
Yeah, you could see it there. That's where he kind of got a little
testy.
Yeah.
Like I'll make my point here again about the center position, how everything changed. I'm telling you, this to me is what that was all about. Jordan Gamillion chiming in on our YouTube page. Thank you very much, Jordan. Center is just as important as the quarterback on offense in their respective position, hands down. If they don't, and he says if they don't want Treader, at least make a trade for one. Absolutely. I mean, this you do not go into this year with an inexperienced center. And we talked about this the other day when I had a conversation with Joe Hawley, the old Bucs center and the Falcons center, and asked him to take me through just mentally what he does from play to play. And it was just this checklist of first thing I'm doing is looking at the personnel coming onto the field, so I know what package the defense is going to be in and what their tendencies are for my film study. Then I'm going into the play and I'm getting the play and grinding on the snap count and the alerts and everything else that has to do. And it was a much longer dissertation than I'm putting into it. And then I'm seeing how they're lined up. And as they're lined up, I'm looking at their tells on who's blitzing, who's not blitzing, where are they coming from, where could they be coming from. Then I got to focus in on my assignment and trying to figure out the way I got to beat my guy. I mean, there's so much going on in the mind of a center. It's not just go get the play, look up and block somebody. And if you haven't done it, you don't know it. You don't know the progressions. You don't know the mental progressions that you have to go through. And Brady is not here for on-the-job training for a center. He's just not. And I know he's played with some young centers before, but I have no idea what those situations were. They're different than this one. This is his last year. He does not like playing with inexperienced players that are going to make mental mistakes. It's as simple as that.
Well, but the curious thing about there, and we went over it, we went the whole history of Brady's centers when he's won Super Bowls, and it's always been guys who were like in their first, second year and weren't really heralded guys, and he had to learn it. And so that's kind of the interesting there, that he's done it his entire career that way.
I don't know if that list is, and I don't know if their second year is a lot different than a first year guy.
I mean, Robert Haynes, he's a second year.
But
You're going to call it his first year.
Yeah, he didn't start last year.
But I think it's just kind of at this point.
And he hasn't played center.
I just think at this point, he's gotten so used to Ryan Jensen now, and he knows that this is
David Andrews was there
this
a
is
while.
one of the best centers in football.
Right.
He's just like, man, this is my guy. I got him back. I came out of retirement, And part of that probably had to do with the fact that I knew I could get my entire team back. And now the first leg of that is gone.
Yeah.
And it's at a position that's important. This isn't like if a running back went out, for example, I'm not trying, and I hate to even bring this up. I'm just going to say, like, if Leonard Fournette, for example, went down with injury, he probably wouldn't be as ticked off because in his mind, it's just the running back. I'll plug a new guy in there. They're not. I'm touching the ball still. I still have the center. You know. I'm trying to say. I don't think he'd be as ticked off if it was a running back who went down.
No.
Whereas the center.
But you look at all key positions. I mean, they weren't going. They're not going with Kate Otten. They weren't going to go with Kate Otten as their starting tight end. They went out and got an experienced guy, Kyle Rudolph. Julio Jones. Russell Gage. Russell Gage is not they weren't going to go draft a receiver. I heard, we're going to draft a receiver. No, we're going to go get an experienced guy.
Tom Brady played with the Dardens and the Tyler Johnsons last year and said that's not happening.
That's not happening. Yeah. No, thank you. Not doing it. So, this is, he even said this the other day. It says, I like veteran experienced football players. And that's what he likes to play with. And you got a guy out there that you can go get.
And again, it's like, how am I going to argue with it? How can I argue with it? I don't want to put the guy on some kind of magical pedestal, which, I mean, I do a lot because I'm very thankful for him coming here and winning the Super Bowl. But it's Tom freaking Brady. Am I going to argue against his way? No. That clearly works.
And here's his name is Drunk. Brady kept the young center in New England. Not all the time, first and foremost. Damian Woody, David Andrews. God, we got to go back. It's ancient, right?
Yeah.
So not all the time. And second of all, I don't know. I wasn't there for those particular situations. Did the guy play a long time in college? Had he played center in college? I mean, who were the guards around him? Was Logan Mankins? Was he flanked by two veteran guys? I mean, there's a lot of different things I'd have to go back. I'm just looking at this situation, and this is the only thing that matters to me is this situation. It's his last year. He's a lot older than he was back then playing with younger centers. He knows what he needs, and there's a guy out there that can give it to him. So I don't know who was out there when New England was, going through what they were at center. I have no idea. Bottom line is, in this situation, how does Tom Brady feel about it?
I'll give you. I mean, Dave, when they won the 2016 title, because it's the first one on top of my head, David Andrews was the center in his second year.
Okay,
he was flanked by Joe Thuney, who's one of the better left guards in the league, but Joe Thuney was also a rookie that year, and Shaq Mason, who was also entering his second year.
Two really good players. There's three really good players right there.
But the point is, left guard, center, right guard, you had a rookie and then two second-year guys.
Yeah, but again,
damn good players.
Damn good players. And you know what? He may not think Hainsey's very good.
It's possible.
What is the evidence that this guy can play? How good of a football player are you? He may not think Hainsey's very good.
Where's the evidence that Hainsey is not good?
Well, you know what? I don't have to prove that because I can go get a veteran guy.
That's true.
If I have an option. I mean, we're acting like there's no option out there. Like, what's the other option? The other option is a guy ranked 5th by Pro Football Focus. That's the other option.
I tell you what I didn't anticipate.
Why would you not take that option?
I truly just could never have anticipated that training camp started, and the thing we're talking about the most is the center position. I mean, not the left tackle position. Though. We're talking about on the line. We're talking about the damn center.
Yeah.
But we have to because it's important.
And this press conference
just kind of proves it right there. He could not, because that question that was asked to him, it was kind of open-ended, and I guess he could have taken it anywhere he wanted to take it. And he looked like he took it and was done, and then he went back in and had to bring up the center again.
Right.
So
what that wasn't was a full endorsement of Robert Hainsey.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that wasn't.
Your boy Drunk's calling you out. JP doesn't even want to give him a chance.
It's not about that, guys. It's not about that. What? No. If I have another option that's better, why would I not take it? It's Brady's last year. What if all you guys are wrong, that Hainsey sucks? Then you're going to say, well, that kind of was a bad idea, wasn't it? Well, let's run it back with Brady. Oh, it's his last year. I don't understand. What is this affection with some third-round pick who's never played center before in the NFL? Let's give him a chance. No, let's not. Why would you do that? I don't get it. All right, we'll take our final break and thank our sponsors, and we'll come back and we'll take your comments on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, you can make comments right there. You can also always text me or tweet me at FanStreamJP. Back in 3.
The world economy is in chaos, and mortgage rates are going to go higher in the next few months. Meanwhile, home values are up 24% in some neighborhoods of Tampa Bay. Do not miss this opportunity to refinance your home, get some much-needed cash to handle skyrocketing inflation, and fill up your car. Contact Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Even if you've recently refinanced, Scott can make the deal work because he charges no lender fees like the big boys do. He will also shop your loan around to dozens of lenders and get the best rates and terms. Let them compete for your business. The big banks charge huge lending fees. Customer service is simply a phone number with endless wait times. Scott is local and will personally take your call. Here's his cell phone number. Tell him JP said you could call. 813-294-7595. Scott's done over 3,000 loans, including many coaches and athletes. He will answer your calls and concerns and give you workable strategies to be smart with your money. Reduce your payments. It's not just what you make, it's what you keep. 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The health professionals at Bay Area Modern Medical Center want you to know it's time to commit to a new healthy lifestyle. It's literally a matter of life and death. 42% of Americans are considered obese, and being obese made you 3 times more likely to be hospitalized by COVID. So getting in shape is not just about looking better, it's about living much longer. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, they take a very different approach to primary care. It's personalized, preventative medicine. Christopher Lugo and his experienced staff are proactive in looking at your issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Building up your immune system, not destroying it with poor nutrition and bad habits. So call for an appointment, maybe change your primary care, and get on a journey back to full health and a happy life. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Have you purchased a home in the last 10 years and the stucco is starting to come loose from the upstairs portion? Well, that can cause some serious damage that you can't see until it's too late. Is it becoming an eyesore? Have you contacted the builder and just can't get any relief? That's very common here in Florida. So call the law offices of Christopher Palermo. They can help you. Call 813-221-5636. That's 813-221-5636. He's recovered millions for his clients. The law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the folks at the Golden Diamond Source. If you're looking to get engaged or maybe want one of those baller watches, the Rolexes, the tags, some of those great watches, collectibles, they got access to all those things and a great selection right there. It's always fun to go in there and shop and look at some of the cool things they have in there, most of which that, if you want to drop 100, 150K on a watch, I can't afford that. But if you want to, then they've got it for you. And they can give you some great advice on what the collectibles are and what's out there and be able to get access to it. So check that out at the Golden Diamond Store. Always the best place to get an engagement ring if that's what you're looking for. They can finance for you 0% over 5 years. That'll save you a ton of money. So you can get a big old ring for 30, 40, 50 bucks a month. So go on in there and see. They're great staff, always well staffed, which is something you can't say about a lot of places these days. They're happy in there. It's a family run business. Steve and Julie Weintraub do a great job at helping out in our community as well with all their charitable endeavors. So support these local companies that support your community. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. We're talking about Glass now. Great bull. Well, we saw like 3 or 4 pitches. Some fan took a video, which I don't know why they're not taking videos of Glass Now's bullpen session and putting them on the broadcast. Did you see that? I didn't watch the whole broadcast, so maybe they did that. But Brian chimes in and says Glass Now's making over $5 million this season as a free agent after the 2023 season. So a trade is likely sometime next year. As you say, Stu isn't forking up any money to sign Glass Now to a long-term deal. It's who Stu is, as you well know. Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if Glass Now is moved the next couple days as part of a trade deadline deal, because we know they're not going to keep him into free agency.
So that means they have to either trade him now or trade him at the deadline next year to get something back. They're not going to let him go for nothing. That's not happening.
In my opinion, no, I just think, and we've talked about, if you get him back late in the season, which I think the likelihood of that happening looks a little bit higher now. If you get him at the end of September, I mean, think of how much a lift that would be to the team, just more like just in spirits and morally. I mean, to me, that would be, I just don't see the use in trading him right now, because is his value anywhere to where you probably want it to be when you flip him? I'd say no at the moment.
That's in the eye of the beholder. I mean, we got a big enough sample size to know that this guy is a dominant pitcher in this league. I mean, he's deciding. I mean, you could take 10 guys in this league and say the top 10 most talented pitchers, and I think he's in that group. I don't think there's any question. When he's right, he's unhittable. He's unhittable. And really coming into his prime right now, and he's had the Tommy John, so you expect him to be more durable the rest of the way. So I think to some teams, he could have extreme value. I think, the big money teams are part of it because they know that they can sign him to a long-term deal. I mean, I think the Dodgers would be looking at it.
It just doesn't look like the kind of move you make during the season, in my opinion. It feels like if it's going to happen, it's going to be an off-season type deal.
Well, listen, obviously the Rays are all about getting big-time prospects because they're cheap and they keep you competitive. That's what Stu does. So Glasnow's a guy that I think other teams would give up some big-time prospects to come back, especially if he can pitch right now. If he can help him down the stretch, another team, you can make a playoff run with him. I think there are a lot of teams that would love to put Tyler Glasnow in their starting rotation for the postseason, including us, by the way. But, I would love to see them keep him. Here's the why did Cash get so perturbed like a month ago when we saw a little bullpen session? He was throwing hard. And have they made any comments at all?
Not that I've seen, no.
About him?
Not that I've seen.
I mean, we're acting like he's not even close. I mean, did you see that? He was throwing full out, 100%, letting it rip.
Yeah. I
mean, should we not be talking about this guy coming back? Should that not be a conversation? I don't really hear anybody talking about it. I'm sure Cash should be asked tomorrow about it.
Maybe he will. We'll see.
I hope so.
I tell you what, though, I mean, the starting pitching for the Rays is something that has been a strength all year, but are you starting to see some cracks there?
Yeah.
Because Kluber hasn't been right the last 3 outings.
Right.
Rasmussen, I think, for the last 2 months in general has been pretty inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
He's not going deep in games at all.
Nope.
And then Springs just came up from an injury. Hasn't really been the same Springs that we saw pre-injury. And then McClanahan just had his worst start of the year where the velo was down.
Yeah.
So
yikes.
I don't know. It just kind of lends back into this trade deadline. Where are the Rays going here? Where are the Rays going? Are they going anywhere?
Whatever they do at the deadline, it has to be something that is sustainable. You can't go rent a player with this team. I mean, there's no signs that this team has any chance whatsoever to win a World Series. You're lucky to make the playoffs in an expanded playoff format. I mean, in other years, they wouldn't even be a playoff team, So, you don't go and expend any capital whatsoever for a rental player. It has to be somebody you have control over for 2, 3, 4 years, and you're getting rid of big salary.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't have any big salaries to get rid of anymore. So, I mean, what's really possible? That's why I think Glasnow's on the table, because Glasnow can bring you a huge return, especially if he's throwing well right now. And by the way, if you were the Rays, wouldn't you want that publicity out there that he's throwing well and could come back for the stretch run in terms of making a trade? Don't you want people to see that? I would.
I mean, they may already be resigned to the fact that he's not coming back, and they might know already.
Why is that? I mean, he injured himself mid-season last year. So we're what? We're a year out, maybe 14 months?
Let's be real here. The Rays are pulling their ace after 81 pitches because they're concerned about the future.
Yeah, but Tyler, but they're not protecting Glasnow for the future. They're not signing him to a long-term deal. They're not. They never do. Not guys like that. So they're looking. They brought him back. They paid him this year for his trade value. Absolutely.
I mean, they've probably
100%.
made it longer into the season than you would have anticipated with his paying him to rehab.
Yeah.
So at this point, I just feel like you might as well just make it to the end.
No, why not use him? If he can pitch, he can pitch.
We'll see.
All right, that'll do it for today's big show. I think we've uncovered why Brady's so pissed. It'd be fun to see what happens in the next couple days if the Bucs make a move. as far as the Rays go, I hope something happens today. We'll see. I doubt it's going to be anything big, but we shall see. Good job, Nick Geddes. We will be back tomorrow with more fun and frivolity. We'll be out at camp I think they'll be in pads tomorrow as well. So we'll have a full report, have some more sound from you, and maybe some more analysis on Tom Brady. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everybody.